When Bentley was small, we noticed that there were several different things that he was doing differently. When doctors and specialists continue to tell you what is wrong with your child, you are in such a dark place. The therapists at UCP are amazing. They brought inspiration, they brought hope. Bentley has a fantastic relationship with UCP. And if we can continue this together, Bentley will be unstoppable.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, Old Man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on, automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
When you're ready,
Surf Pro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
so proudly we hailed, and the twilight lies gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran fast, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land under the free, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land under the free, and the home of the
Located 2 miles from the beach and opened in 1959, located just down the street at 1801 West International Speedway Boulevard, home of some tragedy and some triumph. We're at Daytona International Speedway. I'm up in the booth tonight, joined by my co-hosts, Ray Richer and Robert McFarland. Guys, we're back at the beach. Welcome.
Good evening, Joe. It's going to be an exciting evening, of course. This being a day race, a little bit warm on the track. Not a bad thing, though. These guys got it right down pat. We were talking earlier to a couple guys, and, of course, these cars are a little bit loose around the corners, especially. You want to hear them here at Daytona. But keep in mind, getting sucked up to the guy behind you is the only way you're going to make it work. With a draft around here at about 190-plus miles an hour, it's going to be a great racing evening, guys.
Indeed it is. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to this Cross Continent Racing 200. Now, Cross Continent Racing is a little bit different. They're a group of drivers from across the country. They're spread out, not limited to just one area. Their goal here at iRacing is to make each and every member of their team better and to get as many wins as possible. We've got a couple of those guys in the field, Will Davis and Gary Sexton. We'll be keeping an eye out on them tonight, Ray.
Yes, sir. Real quick there, Joe, I want to remind Ray, I think we can hear you on both channels. If you want to make sure you're not speaking into the race channel, there's a little bit of reverberation there. Ray, if you can take a second to get that corrected, I appreciate it.
Well, while my colleague Ray is getting ready, we're going to watch a couple of these cars take some laps around the track. We're going to be keeping an eye on that number 7 of Will Davis. He's one of the drivers of the Cross Continent Racing team, one of my teammates in the Xfinity and Truck Series. So they definitely have a guy up in the booth tonight that's rooting for him. We're going to sit back and kind of take an eye and see what he's doing. A lot of these guys, whenever they're doing their qualifying lap, they're going to go right up against that high line, get that car wound up, get as many miles per hour speed as they can. As he works his way out of turn 4 now, he's going to cross that start-finish line. And if I'm a guessing man, I'm going to say he's probably going to stay right up against the wall, and indeed he does. Most guys here at Daytona, folks, during qualifying, they want to stay right up against that wall for the first lap. A lot of them won't run the bottom, just as we're seeing Will Davis do right now. 183 miles an hour right there through the middle of the corner, and he's going to wind that thing up down the back straightaway. Speed's probably approaching right around 189, 190 miles an hour outside of the draft. Now, once they get in the draft, we'll probably see speeds north of 200, 203, 204, and we're going to see a lot of double file racing. Don't be surprised to see these guys go single file for the first 30 or 40 laps. This is an 80-lap event tonight, so everybody's just going to try to make those final 10 laps. You know, you've got to have a game plan. We're going to see some guys go to the front, some guys try to ride around in the back, wait for it. Right now we're going to go back to Will Davis. He's going to come across the stripe. He's going to take that number 7. He's going to plant it right on the bottom as he heads into turn 1 this time. Crosses the stripe the first lap with a 48.887. Let's see how he does on that second lap right now. Up front, the first lap looks like Josh Bonwell. Hey, Josh's mom, he ran a 48.115. I'm not sure that's going to hold up for the pole. Usually it's going to be a lot faster than that. Again, our eyes are still on Will Davis as he's rocketing down the back straightaway. Just north of 186 miles an hour. That number 7 looks quite comfortable on the bottom side. Not a whole lot of movement around. He just holds it right there on that yellow line as most of these guys do. While he's finishing up this lap, looks like Ashton Crowder as of right now is on the pole with a 48.077. Will Davis coming out of 4 and through the tri-oval. Looks like he's going to cross the line and he's going to shake out Will Davis to 8th place.
Yes, sir. We do have Will Davis in the booth. Ray, I think Joe wanted to ask you a couple quick questions on your qualifying lap and maybe how your car's feeling for the race.
Hey, Will, it's Joe Johnson up in the booth, man. As always, buddy, it's good to talk to you. You know, I told him that I'm one of your teammates, and you got a guy up here cheering for you tonight. Looks like you're going to start 9th right now, man, with a 48.112 in qualifying. How's that car feeling?
Car feels pretty good. I just hope, you know, we keep it all in one piece. It's going to be a long race, so hopefully try to keep her out front and out of trouble.
Well, 10-4, you know, I know you guys formulated a plan last week in the Xfinity Series. We kind of ran the back and waited for the big ones to happen, but I talked to you before the race tonight. Your quote was, I'm going to go win the damn thing. So are you going to hold up that end of the bargain?
Yeah, I'm going to try my hardest. And I got some good teammates, Gary, Sexton, and Jesse Abraham, so hopefully we can keep it clean, keep it together, and you know, stay out of trouble and be there at the end, because that's where it counts the most, obviously.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate you giving us a second of your time. Now, get out there and go win this damn thing, buddy. You got a cheerleader up here.
Will do. Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Joe. Thank you there. I think Ray has probably got his equipment worked out. What are you expecting from in this? Looks like it's called the Cross Continent 200 live here on All Pro Broadcasting. Again, real quick, I will mention to all the fans, you want to make sure you click that subscribe button so you get all the alerts on how to win the free pizza. We're going to give you that exact detail of how to do that in just a few minutes. Go ahead, guys, Ray and Joe.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Got everything kind of fixed up over here. We'll go down your starting positions this evening. Starting right now on the pole, the 27 car of Ashton Crowder with a speed of almost 185 miles an hour, time of 48.077. Second on the outside row will be the 17 of Gary Sexton with a 48.079. Only 2 thousandths of a second separate the top two to begin this race this evening. Mark Jackson will be on the outside of the second row. In the third place spot, Brandon Cruz in a 54 machine will be on the outside of him. In the third row back, William Roberts Jr. in a 12. And the 25 of Gerald Campbell will start in the 6th position. Jeremy Crandall bringing it into the top 10 already at the front this evening will start in the 7th spot. The 11 of Buzz Moore will start in the 8th position. 9th position will be the 42 of our points leader, Tanner Tallarico. And rounding out the top 10, the number 7 of William Davis.
Starting 11th, looks like Josh Bonwell. To his outside, Curtis Young will start 12th. Brian Cutts rolls off 13th. To his outside, Eric Stanford will roll off 14th. Behind those guys, on the next row, Jesse Abraham and Andrew Payne, 15th and 16th respectively. Jeff T. Martin will start 17th. Ryan A. Hill to his outside on row 9 and 18th. And starting 19th, the last guy that took time looks like James Ross. Looks like a lot of these guys are trying to start from the back, Ray. I don't blame them one bit.
Absolutely. One of our guys, actually, I'm very surprised it didn't take any time, was the 98 of Washington, who will start in your 20th position this evening. David, obviously, up in points right now. He is second in points, only 6 points behind our points leader, Tanner Tallarico, in the 42 machine. 21st on down will be Shane Parrish, Kyle Kamer, Jason Cardwell, Giovanni Permani, Jack Watts, William E. Moore, Nick Reynolds, and starting 28th to round out your field will be the 71 of Wesley Wakefield.
Well, Ray, I'm definitely excited here tonight. I love Daytona, the draft, the 2, the 3 wide guys. They're together the whole night, and it always comes down to those last 3 or 4 laps. How do you get yourself into position to be ready? When is it time to pull the proverbial pin from the grenade?
I think the last 20 laps in this race, most of the time, kind of can figure things together. If you think about it, too, the last 10 laps, you don't really have, you have a teammate, but you don't, because, trust me, that can go downhill in a hurry. When your teammate's behind you and you got a chance to win the race and you're that teammate, you go for it, man, slingshot or not. That does happen, of course. There will be some guys that, obviously, if the guy behind him's got higher in points, they'll take the chance and try to push their guy across the start-finish line first. Either way, it's always a big shakeup at the end of this race. Going right now rather quickly down the top 10 in points, we got our first point leader, 42 car of Tanner Tallarico. In the second position, as I said earlier, will be David Washington. Ryan A. Hill will be third. Curtis Young fourth. In the top 5, big Brandon Cruz Monsalves. 6th through 10th, Jack Watts, Gary Sexton, Kyle Kamer, Buzz Moore, and the number 10 in 10th place of Nick Reynolds. Our points this evening.
Yeah, the cars I'm keeping an eye on tonight, obviously going to be the cross-continent guys. Looks like the number 17 of Gary Sexton is going to start on that outside pole, where we like to see our teammates start up front. Will Davis in the top 10 as well, and then number 7 to the outside row. I'll tell you what, those guys always seem to try to get hooked up as fast as they can, and it's always a good time when they hook up. Also, Jesse Abraham's racing for Cross Continent Racing tonight as well. Looks like Jesse Abraham's in that 97 back there in 15th. So we'll see how these guys use strategy and see if they can't get together towards the end of the race, get those cars up front, and get a win for Cross Continent Racing.
See, that's one thing, too, with these high-speed banks. What you really want to stay in the top 10 most of the night because you're going to shuffle up through. Drafting, of course, always the key here in the fast tracks. Well, we're going to watch a lot of that this evening. As we come down to turn 4, we'll let you take it off, Joe.
We're waiting for that pace car to make that hard left turn here at Daytona. Waiting to set those proverbial horses free. Green flag is in the air, and everybody's on the loud pedal. Up front, the 27 and the 17 are going to get after it. It's go time here at Daytona. Ashton Crowder shows the way.
The outside line trying to form up. Of course, they've already been there from the start-finish line, but the 54 on the tail of that 17 machine of Gary Sexton, that outside line usually doesn't last too long, especially when they want to get to the bottom of the beginning of these races. It almost seems like they're losing ground on the outside already.
Yeah, I know Gary Sexton, he wants to make that outside line work, but I tell you what, with all the help on the inside right now, the 27 of Ashton Crowder, he has got a trunk full of Martin Jackson. Looks like the 12 car of William Roberts Jr. as well. they're going to get single file, and I expect that 17 to either get in line or go to the back.
Yeah, as you're saying that, we watched the 54 drop to the inside line right behind the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. Gary Sexton looking for a hole, but just not able to find it. Of course, he's got no help at this point in time on that outside line, but he's got to find his way down to the bottom. If not, obviously going to be shuffled back quite quickly here.
Yeah, you know, that's definitely the thing here at Daytona. It's all about getting in line or finding a good drafting partner. And right now, he's got nobody dancing with him. Gary Sexton falling almost out of the top 10. It's how fast it happens here, Ray. I mean, if you don't have any drafting help, you're going to the back in a hurry.
Absolutely. With a single file line at the bottom there, obviously you see that forming up. William Davis on the outside of that 07 machine, unfortunately kind of stuck there. Of course, he gets a little bit help from the 97 of Jesse Abraham. Now, Jesse decides to go back to the low line. Of course, finds his way. The outside line just is not there yet. Single file is going to happen probably for at least a good 20 laps, or at least before the first time they pit at this point.
Yeah, I don't expect to see a whole lot of 2-wide, 3-wide racing here for the first part. The key to winning here at Daytona is just to be here towards the end. And the guys up front, that's how they're going to race. You're not going to see a whole lot of double file racing right now. These guys are smart. You know, a lot of these guys up front are in the top 10 in points, and that's how they've gotten here. They race the racetrack, they race the conditions, and at the end of the race, they're still there to race each other. So this is what you can expect for the first 30, 40 laps.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at right now, of course, again, this is only the first couple of laps. Not a lot happening as of yet, but David Washington at 98 car, he's back in the 18th position. He's gained about 2 so far, of course, starting 20th with no time. But he's only got the help of the 88 Kyle Kamer machine at this point. But, you know, keep an eye on that for the cheese because, look, we got an early taker for the pitch. What's going on here, guys? Trying to take a look. I thought I saw a car pull off there. I kind of missed it. Heading towards the pit, I was watching the 98 of David Washington. Again,
yeah, I think yes, sir, about that. I think it was the 14 of James Rolls. I think he, in my opinion, was guilty of laying back about 6-8 car lengths on that start of the race. So he's coming down to pit road. He has to serve a black flag.
10-4 on that. He's taking 4 fresh Goodyears while he's at it. Definitely a smart move on his point. Going back towards the front of the field, William Roberts Jr., of course, up front with that lead. He's got the 3 right behind him. Excuse me, I got the wrong guy. Ashton Crowder with the lead. The 3 of Mark Jackson, William Roberts in third. That didn't take him long to stay up front. Of course, single file all the way back through, at least to about the 15th spot.
I'll tell you what, James Ross, if he picked the time to get a penalty, now's the time to do it. There's still plenty of time for him to work toward his way back up toward the front of the field as nobody's a lap down yet. So don't count the 14 out. You know, he's going to have to make us some time. You know, our officials deem that he kind of laid back on a restart. So he's got to serve the penalty, do the crime, you do the time. But don't count James Ross out. He'll be there towards the end.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you got to realize, too, he may be a lap down right now, have no help for drafting. But, again, as long as he can stay behind that pack, he'll get a lucky dog in the first caution, which is still a possibility. Of course, 80 laps, there's always a chance of that big one happening, even here in sim racing, and it does happen in due time. But these tires on this track don't seem to fade a lot. Of course, in these super speedways, they seem to last for quite a while. And, you know, you can kind of go almost the full race without a set of tires, but you can't go without fuel.
That's exactly right. I expect to see a lot of 2-tire stops tonight. You know, if you look at what's amazing right now is if you look at this front pack and then you look toward the back where these guys are kind of 2 wide, dicing up back there toward the back end of the tail at the end of the field. This front pack is just leaving them in a hurry. You've got to stay single file as long as these guys up front are, because if you don't, you have no chance. You're going to lose 2 seconds a lap here, Ray. And Daytona, that's costly toward the end of the race.
You know, I was keeping an eye on that 11 car as well. Buzz Moore, I've seen him sneak out to that outside line a couple of times. He just did it off before. Not sure if he's kind of going wide with the steering wheel or not. Right there he does it again, kind of past the start-finish line. But, again, no takers. Well, you know, as I say that, there seems to be a small line back, about 10th place back forming up. Looks to be led by that 17 of Gary Sexton. Like you were saying earlier, Joe, he wanted to make that outside line work. He might have a little bit of help now. He actually is riding along the side of the 93 of Andrew W. Kane, and Andrew seems to be towing along as Buzz Moore jumps that outside and now tows the 17 up with him. Again, as John Conwell now goes to the outside, it looks like we might have ourselves a race.
Well, let's keep an eye now. You know, we talked about this cross-country guys. The 17, the 97, and the 7 are all teammates, and like we talked about earlier, they want to get hooked up. They want to get to that outside. They know they can make that outside line work. So when you start getting the guys, the likes of Josh Bonwell and these guys up towards each other, they're going to make some time up on the leader. We're going to sit back here and see if they can't catch them.
still got a lot of time yet. Of course, lap 8 in the books right now. That outside line, again, keeping an eye on it. It's back to about the 8th spot. Looks to be right now led by Josh Bonwell. Yes, Mom, he's out there in front, just on the outside line. But again, he still has a chance to get towards the front, so keep rooting him on. On the inside line, of course, the 94 of Curtis Young seems to be trying to catch that inside pack, cutting the outside line off from any chance of coming down. But again, there's still a hole in front of him. The car still seems to be fast, but a little bit of ways to go. You have to catch up to the car in front.
Yeah, it looks like Gerald Campbell's pushing for all he's worth right now behind that 94, but they just can't quite close that door. Josh Bonwell's out there strong. He's got Buzz Moore, Gary Sexton, William Roberts, Jesse Abraham. They're all nose to tail. So as I speak, Curtis Young finally does shut that door. So the outside line not really making a whole lot of charge right now.
Now, one thing a little bit farther back, Joe, kind of looking at the second pack that's forming here. Looks to be led by the 0-14 of Jeff T. Martin on that outside line. Eric Stanford on the inside line, 2x2x2, at least, about 4 deep. A lot of guys lining up. Now, if they can keep in line like that, kind of do a little bit of side drafting to cut that out, they might be able to take and get that front pack, but it's going to be a little bit and a lot of effort to get to them.
Well, I think what the front pack was doing earlier, them staying in line and pulling away was really the right thing to do here, because you don't want to race a full field here at Daytona. You want to be able to get in line, get comfortable, and just put laps on the car. So I'm not real sure why these guys are racing like they are right now. If I was them, man, I'd be in line leaving that second pack.
As you're saying that, I'm watching the outside line with Josh Bonwell there. He was right alongside the 93 for a little while, and actually, kind of as I say that, he kind of falls back a bit. He was alongside him and started pulling up just ahead, and I think they lost their head of steam there, because if you look from Buzz Moore back, it kind of broke up a little bit on that outside line. They need to get in line. They need to side draft. They need to walk those cars up like a ladder on that inside line, and right now that just doesn't seem to be happening.
Absolutely not. Now, let me ask you this, Ray. I'm watching the 97 of Jesse Abraham. Looks like the 7 of Will Davis is tucked in on the bottom line, leaving him out there by himself. Are we seeing some overheating issues early?
I'm wondering about that. I mean, you got to realize they're full throttle here most of the time if they're not on somebody's bumper. He might be trying to get cold air. He might be trying to get a little bit of the draft to the outside. Again, that draft to the outside is pretty weak at this moment. I see him drop back in line behind the 55 of Ryan Hill. And we'll see exactly what's going to happen with that 97, but right now, back in line, trying to get through the rear bumper of that 55 as well.
I tell you what, I'm impressed with Mark Jackson up here in the 3. He's just minding his P's and Q's, just staying right behind the leader, not looking to the outside, not really getting right up under him where he's got to back off and pull that car. He's keeping it right there in that sweet spot, half a car length off, maybe a bumper off, but so far, Mark Jackson definitely feeling comfortable here at Daytona in that 3 car.
William Roberts Jr. from 3rd to 7th tried that outside line. They finally caught him. Of course, he kind of caught them as he fell back. Unfortunately, lost 4 spots in that whole deal. Again, that outside line's got to form up. People try to take and get up there, and then suddenly decide to go to the bottom like Gary Sexton behind Curtis Young here. And, man, I'll tell you, it's just not working just yet.
Well, it's all about who you pick here in the draft. And Gary Sexton's one of the best guys working the air. I've been able to get in the draft with him and see how he operates. And Gary knows when that outside line's going to work, and he knows when that outside line's not going to work. So for him to be down in that low line without the cross-continent guys behind him right now, I'm really kind of questioning that outside line. I don't think they've got it worked in yet.
Yeah, I got to agree with that, Joe. I'll tell you, we keep talking about the outside line over and over, but on the same note, they just got to keep nose to tail. They're so shuffled up back there. You look at Buzz Moore right now. They finally got in line behind him, trying to catch the rear decklid of Josh Bonwell. With Hill behind him, help him, and of course the 97 of Jesse Abrams as well doing the same, but just not making the draft work in that outside line. Keeping with the pack, though, I got to give them kudos to that. They're going to be catching the lap car right now ahead of them. Looks to be that James Ross in the number 14. Got to kick Ross high, and we'll get the pack below them in the next corner.
And I'll tell you what, while we've got a second, let me just shout out to All Pro Broadcasting and Michael D'Amico. The fans at home right now, they just got done watching one of the coolest cams in the world, the gyro cam, where you can see how the car banks but the camera doesn't move. One of the great shots brought to you here from All Pro Broadcasting. If you need anything done, check these guys out. Make sure you hit the subscribe channel as well. They put on some great events. The best camera angles probably in iRacing today. Ray, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, there's camera angles you don't see anywhere else. That's for absolute sure.
So, hat tip to you there, Michael D'Amico and crew. We here at Domino's CYJ really appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Oh, looks like we got in trouble.
No caution yet. We got a couple cars around. There it is. Caution flag in the air. take the replay up for you and let you know exactly what happened.
Yes, and while we're doing that, fans, real quick reminder, this is how you win that free pizza. We'll give that details out as soon as we cover this replay. We're going to let Joe and Ray, and if they need help from myself covering the replay, we'll go over the replay first. But you want to stay tuned, fans, because at the end of the replay, we're going to give you the details how to win that free pizza. What'd you see, guys?
Bring it up now, guys. Looks like the 93 was a innocent bystander, NRW Payne. He got hit by somebody. I'm trying to see who that is. Looks to be the 04 of Brian Coots. Unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I'm going to kind of look at my monitor. It looks like, Brian Coots got below the yellow line, unfortunately, going into the corner. And the rear end of the car came out from underneath him and, well, went down, came back up, and obviously caught the let me see here.
Left front corner, yeah, of Andrew Payne. Yeah, and unfortunately, that caught up a couple of different cars in there. What else do you see, Joe?
I'll tell you what I was watching was Eric Stanford after the caution. Looks like he got into somebody right there through the tri-oval. I don't know if he could get it woed up or not, and just didn't get on the brakes quick enough, but looks like he's got a little bit of left front damage as well. I'm not sure he made contact with, but we're going to be keeping our eye on the 24 as well.
Yes, sir, I saw the 7 of Will Davis. We talked to him earlier. He is in that Owens Oil Drilling Chevrolet SS. Unfortunately, he got some damage. Also, the 56, unfortunate for Josh Bonwell's mom, Thea. He's got some damage here. Hopefully, he can get it fixed. And I'm not even sure if the 11, looks like the 11 of Buzzmore was able to get slowed up in time not to get involved in that. But unfortunately, it does look like the 97, another teammate, that Jesse Abraham was also involved there in his Ford Fusion, the number 97 of Jesse Abraham. So these guys are definitely going to have some serious issues trying to get repair damage on pit road.
Watching 11 of Buzz Moore through that wreck, I'll tell you there was some pretty quick hands in the steering wheel there. But unfortunately, the 97 of Jesse Abraham come up the track and just kind of caught the left front fender a little bit. Not enough to make any too much damage, but it will affect Arrow here, and of course that is extremely important at this track.
Indeed it is. Looks like Brian Cutts went fuel only in the 04. He comes out in the lead. He was 6 when they hit pit road, followed out by the 11. I think we've got a lot of fuel only here stops here, which I don't really think that's a bad gamble at the moment, Ray. I think that's definitely a good spot. Try to get up ahead of this chaos and try to stay out front.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I mean, the only problem is with that 04, the Brian there, he's got some right rear damage on that car. I mean, he's got it up front now to be able to start off, full tank of fuel. These tires don't wear very much at all here, like I said before. The problem is the aero is not there. That right rear tire may not grab the track, and unfortunately, going into a corner, that may help him spin out again. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but, well, I'll tell you what, if he can keep it up there with that damage, kudos to him.
I think the 11's got just a little bit of damage as well, so the car that I'm watching right now is probably going to be that 3 car of Mark Jackson. Once they all get formed back up here, he should start on the inside of row 2. I look for him to probably make pretty quick work of that 04. I didn't realize he had a whole lot of damage on that car, so we'll be looking for that 3 of Mark Jackson to get up there and take the lead.
Yeah, one of the things we're watching out for to see if any penalties being handled out for the 04. The 04 is obviously the one that went down the track and caused it. They would have to, actually he goes back into the pits at this point in time. We'll see exactly what happens. I thought he just took fuel last lap.
Now, I thought he hit pit road too, just taking fuel, so we'll have to check with the officials here at Domino's TYJ, see what the call was there, to see why he decided to come back down pit road.
Watching to see if there's any tires taken here right now. Fuel only, 1 can in. Nope, we do have the right side of the car up. Guys changing tires on the right side. They go around the other side and the left hand in the air. 2 more fresh rubbers on the left-hand side. Goodyear's full tank of fuel and off. Well, we're going to say off he goes. We have a little. I think he's trying to get that damage fixed there, Joe.
Yeah, he probably is. I tell you what, let's see if we can't get Gary Sexton up here in the booth for a second. Let's see if we can't get our telecommunication guys to get him on the radio.
In the booth here, Gary Sexton, do you have a copy on your radio, buddy?
Yeah, 10-4, you got a copy, Ray?
Yes, sir. Joe?
Gary, Joe Johnson up in the booth. Hey, buddy, from one teammate to another, that Highline right now doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot of work.
No, you know, starting second was actually kind of a curse more than it was a blessing. Got a good pit stall, but I got hung out to dry on that restart. Everybody just jumped to the bottom, got sent to the back. Fortunately, I tried getting the outside to go work there for a little bit. It was, but fortunately I decided to go to the bottom because I feel like if I was on the outside I would get caught up in that wreck. But it's all good. We still got 60 laps to go and lots of time to move up here from 10th place. I'm not in too big of a hurry. Hate to see my teammate take it out in that wreck so early, but I'm gonna try to bring one home for CCR tonight.
Well, if there's anybody here that can do it without teammates, Gary, it's you, buddy. And I tell you what, you go get after it, get up on that wheel, man, and I'll see you in victory lane tonight with a bottle of champagne, all right?
Yeah, 10-4, Joe. Have a good broadcast.
All right, we'll do, buddy. You stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Gary Sexton right now currently in the 8th position on the restart here. They're doubling them up. The pace car lights will go off, and we will go green next time by. Leading the whole pack right now, Mark Jackson on the inside, Brandon Cruz on the outside, and of course a lot of help from behind, a lot of cars that didn't have a lot of damage up in the top 10, so it should be interesting. Of course, Gary's on that outside line. He's going to have a lot of help between Jack Watts and the 27 of Ashton Crowder. Going to be an interesting restart, Joe.
Yes, sir. Real quick, guys. Sorry about that for interrupting. I want to make sure the fans know I have not had a chance to give them the details of how to win that free pizza. We've got a lot of folks watching right now. We definitely appreciate all of our fans. We appreciate all the drivers, all the commentators. Absolutely, we appreciate Michael D'Amico with all of our broadcasting fans. This is how you can win the free pizza. It's real simple. And Michael's going to put up the graphic here in just a minute. We give these away once or twice every single week. Last night, we gave away a free pizza. Tonight, you could be the winner of the free pizza. All you have to do, fans, is be the first fan to accurately predict the winner of this race before lap 40, which is halfway. You're going to have about 21 laps to go. I will warn you, do not pick one driver now and another driver in 10 laps and a third driver on lap 39. None of your picks will count. Take your time, pick one driver, the first fan to actually pick that driver, and you can text me personally, 919-883-7497, the number flashing on your screen. Or if you're in the live chat, you can comment there. We're going to go all-pro broadcasting, crank it up here for the restart, and get your picks in. We'll be back in just a couple of laps.
Guy with the short end of the stick on that restart. Unfortunately, the 25 of Gerald Campbell, he went to the outside, had a little help from the 12 and the 17 as well as Gary Sexton, and unfortunately fell to the back of the front pack. Right now, currently in the 8th spot, Gerald Campbell tries that outside line again to the outside of the 42 of Terrence Tallarico. The front pack slowly pulling away, with the leader of the second pack looked to be the 66 of Jack Watts.
Mark Jackson shows the way. William Roberts is outside. Behind him, the 27 of Ashton Crowder. And on the high side of him, you got, looks like Gary Sexton back there trying to make that high line work again. Curtis Young looks like he's going to be back there as well. A lot of good guys up here slicing and dicing for the lead. Again, it's too early in my opinion. You want to get in line and you want to ride. I don't like seeing these guys race like this early because they're going to tear up a lot of good race cars if somebody makes a mistake. Ray, your thoughts?
Got to agree with you there, Joe. I'll tell you, though, the outside line looks to be starting to file up a little bit. Said that last time, and within a matter of a couple laps, broke right back up again. But there's guys right now with the 66 and the 25, let's put it that way, getting closer to each other, making that outside line, the second groove, work. The inside line only 5 cars deep, but enough to keep ahead of the outside pack. Keep in mind, second line is the furthest way around this track, but if you can get tight enough and more cars, you should be able to pull a train along the inside line there.
Yeah, you know, right there through 1 and 2, I watched the 27. He made an interesting move. If you watched him, he pulled up just enough to stall that outside line, and it closed up right there on the 54 right away. I don't like seeing these guys try to work traffic here. The iRacing physics aren't like the physics you see on a real racetrack like you could see at Talladega or Daytona. You can't stall a line out here without causing a wreck. These guys have got to be super careful right now or they're going to wreck a lot of good race cars.
Yeah, watching that 27, I'm watching him to taking the outside line right in front of the 12, but right now it's just not there. I mean, he's trying to get half a car length out of line that, like you just said, is stalling that inside line like crazy because it's only half a car drafting. And with that being said, it also cuts off the air to the rear car and actually causes more downforce, which again slides him down, slows him down a lot more, excuse me. But again, the outside line looks to be forming, you know, I don't know yet. I'm still looking at it.
I think that 27 is playing with fire right now. You know, and I understand what he's doing. He's trying to work the outside line. He's trying to work the inside line to maintain that position and keep that outside line at bay so he's not pressed down right there toward the bottom. But as now we see, it looks like the outside line is finally starting to make a move. Looks like the 12 car of William Roberts Jr., Gary Sexton, is outside. The 25 of Gerald Campbell as well. They're all in line. And they're starting to finally pull in that leader, Mark Jackson. He's trying to keep him at bay. But if he stays on the bottom, look for that outside line to probably be right at his door as they exit turn 4.
Right now it's 3 against 6. Outside line 3, inside line 6. And I'll tell you what, it looks like they're finally getting it to work. That side drafting, as they're getting a little closer to the doors, side drafting's definitely helping. The 12 of William Roberts Jr. looks to try to take the lead here. Not going to do it at least this lap. Mark Jackson obviously out front of the inside line. Fastest way around this track. But there looks like help might be coming for these 3 cars on the outside. Depends on how quick the cars behind can get there. And as I say that, everybody drops to the bottom, with the exception of the 25, of course. 25 on the outside, third one back. The 55 of Hill just about touches everybody on track, comes down and out of the way at least. Lap car there. He'll get out of the way, and everybody will proceed forward.
Looks like 55's through the grass right there. He maintains control. Looks like he's going to get back up onto the racing surface without causing an incident. We stay green here at Daytona, but man, talk about a close one.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Robert.
Sorry about that, Ray. I want to do a real quick Domino's driver profile while we're in the green. That Mark Jackson, the number 3 Chevy, he is one of the favorites in every single race. Mark Jackson is from Wichita, Kansas. His team is Over the Top Paints, and sponsors are PAD, People Against Distracted Driving. He's been 17 years in the sim. He's won a lot of local street class bracket racing. He's got 40 wins or more in 780 starts on iRacing. He's got 200 top 5s. He's got at least 1 or 2 wins here at Domino's 2YJ Racing, although it looks like right now he's getting past for the lead.
Okay, let's talk about that move the 27 just made. He went high to get the lead, and then he drops back down. One thing that we discovered last week in the Xfinity race when I was racing with the cross-continent guys is that high line doesn't stop working. That middle groove off or that next lane up, if you stay to the outside and you've got a good line for him, the inside line isn't going to catch you. So this whole pull on the leader and drop to the bottom routine, it's going to eventually come back to bite them, because as long as those guys stay formed up on the high side, they can get around the inside line. We've already seen it happening. I look for that 25 to pull right up on the 12. They'll get right behind Gary Sexton, the 17, or he'll either get help from the 54, and they'll go right back to the front again, right?
You know, as you say that, watching the 25, he's on a bumper of a new player who started 26, William E. Moore, the 58. Right now, currently 9th, no timing, and 28 guys started this race. He started second from last. Keep that in mind, Joe. He's up with the lead pack. It didn't take him much to get there. No damage to the car. A lot of aero involved in it. Low line seems to be fast. I watched the only 2 guys in the outside line, unfortunately, falling back at this point.
Yeah, Gary Sexton, he's going to stay on that high line the whole night. He's not going to come down a whole lot. He feels safer up there. He feels like he can get through a a wreck if there is one. He feels like there's more room to move around, and he's right. If you're a pitch down on the bottom, there's not a whole lot of room or margin for error. You make the slightest mistake, and you're up into somebody quick right there through the middle of the turn. So Gary Sexton doing Gary Sexton things. Back up front, looks like that 27 of Ashton Crowder's got a trunk full of Mark Jackson. He may be looking for that lead again off 4.
Well, I'm sure he's biting at the heels of him right now, trying to get that lead back, because he led most of this race for quite a while. Obviously, in about 3 laps now, Ashton Crowder's been out front. Now, that outside line, we've talked about it all night long, the 58 of William E. Moore tries his hand at it, of course, alongside of Brandon Cruz. He'll take and try to get the draft form back up. They're kind of slicing and dicing. With more room, it also gives them a little more slippage up the track, but they also have to stay close to the lower cars to get that side draft in. That's extremely important. With that being said, if 58 William Moore can take and side draft Curtis Young, he can start skipping cars and get up through and pull the whole line behind him with him.
Absolutely right now. Looks like up front, or on the outside, we've got William E. Moore, Gary Sexton in the 17 and the 12 of William Roberts Jr. They've been up front all night long on the outside. I'm interested to see if they can start pulling on these leaders again. It looks like that outside line, when they get formed up, they don't have a problem getting by these inside cars. And one thing to remember about that inside line is there's a lot of checking up that you're not seeing at home. These guys are on the gas, off the gas. Curtis Young up to the high side, trying to slow him down just a little bit with that side draft. It doesn't look like he's going to hold him back a whole lot. That outside line still slowly but surely making a little bit of progress on those guys on the inside.
Hey, Robert, if you're available there in the booth for a second, we've got exactly 10 laps before that pizza giveaway is closed off. For your guests, if you would give the number of information again, it might be worth it right now.
Yes, sir, I will do that. I first want to go back to the 16th position. We got a whole other line of cars running here mid to the end of the lead lap cars, led by Jason Cardwell, that number 18 Toyota Camry. It looks like the Mountain Monsters Camry. He's running 16 in front of this long line. These guys are trying to stay on the lead lap. Followed by him is David Washington with All Pro Broadcasting on the hood of that number 98 Ford. Behind him, we've got the Interstate Batteries of Kyle Cameron in the number 88. Good looking paint job. Behind him, we've got James Ross, who served that penalty. He is still on the lead lap. And, actually, I think he might be 1 lap down, but he's helping this group try to maintain on the lead lap. He's in that number 14, Aegis Motorsports Ford Fusion. Giovanni Bramante, another teammate to Dave Washington, James Ross in that number 89 Ford Fusion. He's in this group as well, running 18. Behind them, we've got Eric Stanford in that 24 Pepsi-sponsored car. We've got Shane Pearson, the Serve Pro, trying to decide where he's going to run. He's right now on the outside. Hopefully he'll get in line here behind the 73. Looks like the Victory Junction, excuse me for a minute, Victory Junction Sadler Foundation, number 73 of Jeremy Crandall. These guys are in the back trying to stay on the lead lap here. Obviously, if they stay lined up, they will definitely get a better chance to catch that group, especially if the caution comes out. Yes, fans, one more time, this is exactly how you're going to win that free pizza. We've given these away many, many times this year, over 35 different free pizza giveaways. Some people have won multiple times. Some people have only won once. Every single race, if we have a free winner, you win a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza, carry out only. We do not bring these to you. In the Cup car trucks or our Xfinity cars, all you have to do, fans, is text 919-883-7497. Or if you're in the live chat, say, I choose this driver. Please only make one pit before halfway, which will be in about 6 laps on lap 40. And we're looking forward to giving you that free pizza tonight.
Not sure exactly what happened, but the 24 in that second pack of Eric Stanford went down in front of the 73 of Crandall to the inside line. Unfortunately, down below the yellow line, he kind of fell back. He's all by him lonesome out there right now with a couple lap cars they just passed about a lap ago, guys.
Don't look now, but that high line's coming. Let's talk about that 17, Gary Sexton. How they're making it work with William E. Moore and the 25 of Gerald Campbell. These guys, I'll tell you what, they're not going to say die. Gary Sexton went on the inside about 3 laps ago just to get some help. Looks like he's got that help. He's already pulled past Curtis Young. Now he's up to the door of the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsavius. And I tell you what, that outside line, like a little engine that could, man, they continue to push and push and push. Gary, they just can't seem to get right past that third-place car.
You know, as you say that, I'll tell you what, your teammate there, the 17 of Gary Sexton, he just took inside drafted the 94, got up alongside of Brandon Cruz. Cruz just pulled out of line for a second, about a quarter of a lap ago, back down to the low side. I don't know if he felt like he was losing ground or He thought he had a shot to get to the front, but I'll tell you, they're still shoveling it up on the bottom line there as you see the three kind of go out to the outside, making half a draft. He wants that lead back in the worst way right now, Joe.
Yeah, well, the outside line's finally getting formed up. The 17, the 58, the 12, it looks like the 25 of Gerald Campbell. The nose to tail, nose to tail right there through turns 1 and 2. 4 cars on the outside. Now, if you notice that inside line is broken up just a little bit, that might be the key to finally getting this outside line to the front.
Now's your time to get your guests in. 4 laps to go before we close on the pizza giveaway. And I'll tell you what, there's a whole slew of them to choose from. A couple lap down cars passing Josh Bonwell, but unfortunately 11 laps down at this point in time. Little slip from the 17. He'll go up to the third groove against the wall. Let the 58 by, 3 wide going into turn 4 with a lap car right ahead of him of Jesse Abrams.
Yeah, it looks like he just got loose. Looks like he got the air taken off the spoiler. That's kind of normal here at Daytona. Great save by Gary Sexton. Like I said, he's up there doing what he does best. He loves how the car feels. Just a small slip up, but I tell you what, Ray, that'll cost you a lot of time here at Daytona, and he's paying for it now.
I hate to say it, but he was doing fantastic being out front there in his high side line. But now, of course, down to the low line, trying to get back to him. You kind of guessed it most of the night. The 17 wanted to keep his car out there for most of it, but he's got to get his win back up and get back in the sales of things.
Oh, he'll be just fine. We know that cross-continent driver down there in Gary Sexton. If there's anybody here that can get the job done, it's certainly one of those CCR guys. So
listen to that confidence from the teammate, buddy.
That's exactly. Hey, listen, I run with him in the draft at Daytona. I've watched him work the air. He's always got a plan. He's always thinking. That's why we love racing with Gary. He's not out there just holding on to the steering wheel. He's got a plan formulated. He sticks to it. He can adjust things on the fly. He's a great teammate. We can't say enough about him here at CCR. But before I sound too much like a teammate, let's get back to the front. The 27, Ashton Crowder, still shows the way over Mark Jackson.
All is good, buddy. I'll tell you, he's got a chance to get out the outside line right now with a 25, Gerald Campbell. Gerald, again, remember earlier, he slipped up himself, went to the inside line, had to make his way back up. Right now, currently in the 8th position, Gary tries to use his back end, gets around him, slingshots to the bottom line, using the draft off the 42 of Terry Tellerico. He'll get by him and try to get back to that outside line.
I was thinking back, trying to figure out maybe why he got loose. These guys have started burning off some of this fuel. I mean, we're kind of midway through a green flag run here, so, that spoiler's starting to come up just a little bit in the air, and that's probably what ended up him getting loose right there through 4.
Yeah, you got to realize in the real world, and they also built this into iRacing a bit, gasoline weighs 8 pounds a gallon, so every lap they're burning about roughly 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons off. They only get about 5 miles to the gallon. Keep in mind, 2 laps will be 1 gallon. After about 4, you burn off about 16 pounds and so on and so on and so on. But after you get a half tank on, I think these cars only have 14-gallon tanks tonight on them. It starts to get light in the rear end. And as you say, you get up close to somebody, it takes that wind off the back spoiler. It's going to get a little skittish on you, and obviously the 17 was a good example of that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he did a heck of a job saving it right up there against the wall. Back out there again on that high side. Looks like we got 3 cars trying again. Looks like the 58 of William E. Moore, 12 of William Roberts Jr. and Gary Sexton, the 17. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with that 58. He started way back in the pack, and for him to get up here that quick is pretty darn impressive.
It is very impressive. Yeah, sorry about that, Ray and Joe. Just wanted to chime in there. He's one of the drivers who had a penalty from the race 2 weeks ago. He had to start from the his pit box, fans. And so that put him automatically 1 lap down. Him and James Ross both were a lap down early in this race. So that is remarkable, whether his pit strategy or what. But I'm hearing on the radio communication, some of these drivers are getting ready to make some pit stops. We'll have to cover that for you fans.
As we say that, the 04 of Brian Coots, first one to take it to pit lane, right alongside the lap car of Jesse Abraham, and Buzz Moore, of course, taking right along behind him. That was in the second pack. I was about to mention these guys were on 13th. Of course, now they're going to get shuffled back. They were trying to catch that front pack, and they were doing well for quite a while. There was actually 8 seconds between the 10 of Nick Reynolds and the 04 of Brian Coots, but obviously that all changes things now. Keep an eye on the front pack and start pitting very soon.
Yeah, Will Davis is also on pit road. Sorry about that, Joe. I just noticed he came down pit road as well. Go ahead.
Fans, you got to remember here, when they start to come on pit road, they're going to come off turn 4 at 190 miles an hour plus. They're going to yank it down below the left hand, below those 2 yellow stripes to the left. They're going to get hard on the brakes and get the car slowed down to 60 miles an hour, which is pit road speed here at Daytona. And they're going to do that all within about 100, 150 yards total. So it takes a lot of skill to be able to get these cars slowed up, get them under control, and hit pit lane without going over the speed limit and getting a black flag.
Yeah, even in the sim world, you got to realize, too, when they shift gears right here, they can hit the wrong gear a little bit too early, pop motor, hurt it, whichever. Obviously, lock up the brakes, etc. Smoke kind of shows that. As we see the 12 go to the high side, and he's shoved up by Sexton a little bit. They look like they touched, but I don't believe that they did. He'll take and get it back in line on the low side, right behind the 25 plus more. But he'll be joined by the 17 of Gary Sexton, and unfortunately, even the 58 out to drive.
Yeah, you got to be thinking right now they're probably going to play some pit strategy. A lot of these guys that aren't teammates are going to need a drafted partner. So right now they're just going to watch and see who's pit and win and probably go with them. I tell you, here at Daytona, we call it frenemies. You make a deal with the devil if he gets you to the front.
Oh, absolutely. Lap 43 right now on. Keeping an eye on turn 4 right now. They shoot down the backstretch. Everybody's to the low line because everybody looks like they're going to pit. I'm thinking at least this time because they shuffled down last lap. Joe, I think we're going to keep an eye here. It's going to get shuffled up as they come down pit lane.
It may just indeed, Ray. I tell you what, I'm looking for 2 tires and 2 cans. That's what I'm telling my crew chief. No takers this time by. Everybody stays on that loud pedal. So another time around here at Daytona, the 27 still out front. But you got to think those pit cells are starting to get empty. You got to get the pit road here soon. You don't want to take a risk of running out of fuel here at Daytona. If you do, your race is over.
There's one advantage we have here in iRacing. Now, obviously, each driver can talk to every driver on the speedway by just a simple press of the button on their steering wheel or whatever they take and prefer. But they also have TeamSpeak, which they can talk to their teammates. So now what we're trying to listen to is the radio communication between everybody to see who's going, but you can't really tell that with teammates because obviously we're not in that channel. So private channels are allowed here. We're probably going to take and see a bunch of teammates pit together. And, well, we'll see what happens. They're coming off turn 4 right now, and no takers, none at all. Everybody still stays out. Those cells, like you said, Joe, have got to be starting to get pretty dry.
Absolutely. You're talking about TeamSpeak. You know, I know at CCR, you know, we've got that communication where we can discuss across channels, the main channel, but TeamSpeak was invented to give you that edge to make sure that your teammates are on the same strategy you are. And at CCR, we don't share information. So if you're not the password-protected TeamSpeak channel, then you're out of luck. But I'm pretty sure right now a lot of these guys up front are single-car guys. Maybe had a teammate taken out in an earlier wreck. So they're trying to figure out what to do because you don't want to pit and get left on pit road alone because that's a long, lonely road that you're probably not going to recover from.
No, I don't think so. By the way, unless you're an admin, I can bypass password anyways. But I'm also not in this league, so it doesn't much matter, guys. Just kind of kidding around there a little bit. Again, 3 times around, we kind of guessed that they were coming to pit lane. I haven't really heard much yet to see if they're coming, but everybody's using that low side, and that's where they got to be to make the pit. The other thing is, I'm looking back at the 0-14 of Jeff T. Martin. He kind of keeps sneaking outside, and if you look at the distance between him and Jack Watts ahead of him, he keeps opening up. Even though Nick tries to follow him, it's just not enough to keep with the draft. They got to keep low. And the other thing is, when they go into pit, they've got to be as close as possible as they are together. So say, for example, you got 3 car lengths between the guys in front of you. That's 3 car lengths or another second.
Right there, pit now. Right there, pit now. Sorry to interrupt you.
The 27 of Ashton Crowder will come down first as a shuffle comes in behind him.
Oh, looks like we got a little bit of trouble on the 58. Oh, he almost wrecks the field coming on the pit road. Looks like they get everything situated. A little bit of damage to Gary Sexton's car. Not a whole lot. Looks very fixable. But again, this is definitely going to be an incident that Gary Sexton didn't need tonight for CCR. Who else you got your eye on down there, Ray?
Yeah, I was watching that myself. I was watching the 27 there of Ashton Crowder. As we're watching him, of course, he's got the pole position tonight. First one in, first one out. He'll take and be able to take and get right on that loud pedal. As we see the 25 get out quick. The 27 took some tires. I don't believe the 25 of Gerald Campbell took any tires this point in time. I have to rewind it, take a look myself. It may even be right-hand size, Joe.
Gerald Campbell looks like he's in the middle of no man's land as he's coming back up the speed right there through 1. No drafting help whatsoever. I would imagine he's probably going to try to fall back to, looks like Shane Parrish back there in the 81's about 25 cars back. Behind him, Ashton Crowder. Looks like he's going to have some help from Gio Bramante. The 12 and the 24, William Roberts and Eric Stanford come out together. Tanner Tallarico and Gary Sexton look like they're going to be the only dependable guys to each other right now. So look for the 42 and the 17 to also link up. Again, a lot of guys here, they're going to make deals with whoever they have to make deals with to get to the front.
I just noticed an update real quick, guys. The 27 Ashton Crowder, B-road tires, fuel only. Mark Jackson came down as a leader. He looks like he took 4 tires, and he's coming off pit road now.
I don't think it's going to matter much on tires, but Mark Jackson really with a smart move. Now the 25, by the way, left side tires only, full cans of 2 Sunoco Racing Fuels in the car. See what happens when they shuffle up through. Of course, this guy's got to cycle back around from the pit strategies, but I'm going to watch for the 25 to be up in the top 5.
Well, I checked in with Gary Sexton. Looks like he's got a lot of damage on that left front. 30-45 seconds worth of damage repair, so not real sure he's going to be very competitive for the rest of the night. Looks like Curtis Young and the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsavius, they're going to get in line, and I really think they're going to track Mark Jackson out with a quickness.
Yeah, I tell you what, sorry about that. That's going to 73. Jeremy Crandall will be inheriting the league here. I just heard he's coming down pit road real quick. Jeremy Crandall is driving that. A beautiful paint job tonight. This is the Sadler Sadler Foundation. Hermie and Elliott Sadler. Most everybody who knows anything about NASCAR, they all know about Hermie and Elliott Sadler. It's great to have him on the car here. Jeremy, like usual, stays out to lead a lap. It's going to help him in the chase playoffs with points. Go ahead.
Mark Jackson was going to be your leader, but Curtis Young and Brandon Cruz locked up front to back and was able to blow by him in a heartbeat. Now, the number 3 is going to need some help. Looks like he may have it by the Jeff T. Martin machine, the 014 behind him, as the bottom line starts to form back up for the front pack, guys.
Yeah, my eyes are back here on the 17 and the 58. If you remember before the pit stops, they were running nose to tail way up toward the front. William E. Moore got it locked up right there through pit road. Got into Gary Sexton just a little bit. I'm not real sure those cars are the same anymore. I'm not really sure they're going to be there toward the end of the race either.
Yeah, I'm looking at both those cars right now real quick. It looks like William E. Moore, the rear of his car looks pretty good. Gary Sexton, not much damage on the back of his car. Looking back up to the front, he's got a little bit of left front fender damage. His left front tire is definitely sticking out on that cross-continent number 250 Toyota Camry. Unfortunately, these two guys got involved on pit road. Now they're back on the track with 4 fresh Goodyear Eagle tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel. And guess what they got to do? They got to make up quick and get back to the lead as best they can. It's interesting and ironic how things happen like this.
Looks like a 6-car breakaway up front from the 66 of Jack Watts all the way up to the 3 of Mark Jackson, who, by the way, just led that last lap on the outside line. It's a good battle up front between the 94 and the 3. Right down the back chute they go. Of course, help. It almost looks like the tandem racing we had a couple years ago in the real world.
Yeah, it does. Looks like the old 2x2 Talladega racing that everybody seemed to hate in NASCAR, myself included. Let me get off my soapbox and get back to the race. Up front, Curtis Young in the 94 showing the way over the 54 of Will Crowder. To the outside, Mark Jackson looking to make that outside line work. Once again, looks like he's got some help from Jeff T. Martin, who's still up there towards the top 5. So still a lot of good cars left, but definitely hate to see some of the leaders get taken out on a pit road incident.
Kind of a little back through the field here, guys. Let's see, 6th place Jack Watts, of course, that's up in the front field as they get the past the 14 machine right now. Going back to 7th place, the 25 of Gerald Campbell, again, took left side tires only. Seems to be doing pretty good, but, well, he was 3.5 seconds last lap between him and the 6th place spot. Right now, 4.665 seconds back last time across the straight. Behind him, the 81 of Shane Parrish. Now, Shane, unfortunately, looks to be 1 lap down. He'll be in the lucky dog spot right now. Back behind him, the 27, our leader that came in on the last cycle, 27 of Ashton Crowder. He's in the 8th position right now, 6 seconds behind the leader. That actually separates them, almost about 4 seconds between them and 6th place spot.
Yeah, real quick, guys, we'll do another quick Dominance driver profile. You just mentioned Gerald Campbell. Tonight he's in that 25 machine. It's the Ford Fusion Captain America. Gerald Campbell is one of our favorite drivers. He is from Sebring, Florida. His team is Aggressive Eagle. His sponsors are Veteran of Foreign Wars. And tonight, obviously, Captain America. He's got 15 years of legend racing in Florida. And he is a 2012 Pro Truck champion. So we'd love to have Gerald Campbell in the race tonight. Hopefully he's got some positions to make up, but it's good to see him in a new paint job tonight, that Captain America Ford Fusion number 25.
Bit of a surprise here up front to me anyways. That 10 of Nick Reynolds, who started 27th with no time whatsoever. He was mid-pack for quite a while. Of course, a lot of these guys went in a little bit late, or lap late anyways, getting pits. Kind of shuffled everybody back. Nick took the advantage of it. Right now, 3rd place. Behind them, 66 of Jack Watts, who moved from 6th to 4th. Right on the low line, of course, outside of him, Curtis Young. Curtis been running up front most all night long. Just basically a breakaway of 6 cars. If they lay in line, they're going to pull more distance between the guys behind them. And, well, it seems to be that way right now. They were shuffling it up earlier, but they've got to realize they've got at least another, 25 laps to go at this point.
Looks like we got a little bit squirrely there. Curtis Young gets to the back of, what number car is it? Looks like the 66 car of Jack Watts. Everybody gets straightened out and away from that incident. Curtis Young almost took himself out, but I'm glad to see they were able to recover. And like you said, Ray, if I'm up front, I'm telling these guys, hey, let's get in line, let's ride, and let's get away from everybody behind us. Let's make this a 6-car battle to the end. And right now, they can definitely do it. Now's the time to go if you can get it organized.
Okay. Yes, sir. Real quick, sorry about that, Ray. I just wanted to mention to the fans, you do have some new players up front here. I know you guys have been keeping up, doing a great job there, Joe and Ray. But the 3 of Mark Jackson is leading this race. He's got a lot of laps led under his belt. But some of these guys started way back in the pack. Jeff T. Martin started 17th. He's up to 2nd. We got Nick Reynolds started 27th. You mentioned about him coming out of nowhere. He's up to 3rd. Jack Watts started all the way back in 25th. He's up to 4th. And yes, Curtis Young started 12th. He's up to 5th. The guy who had the pole for tonight's race, Ashley Crowder, at 27, he's back to 8th. I'm not sure if he had issues on pit road, but I tell you what, these guys that started in the back right now, they're looking like sunshine.
Your 17, unfortunately, of Gary Sexton, along with the 58, runs 14th and 15th right now. They're basically tandem racing, trying to get back up to that front pack. Now, FYI, front pack, single file, best way to do it right now, again, with 23 laps to go. Down to the 6th place spot, again, I mentioned before, Brandon Cruz. Back to the 7th place, though, of Gerald Campbell. He was only tandem with the 81, again, 1 lap down for quite a while. They have seemed to form their own line. Well, with 5 cars against 6, they've got to keep in line as much as they can to try to catch that front pack. The minute that front pack starts racing and breaking up, these are those guys' chance to catch them. They're over 6 seconds back. And I'll tell you what, the way they're doing it right now seems to be pretty good, but they've got to keep front to back.
Yeah, they're not really doing a heck of a good job right there. 12 has got to close up right there on the 27. The 24 really needs to get in line. You've got to stay single file if you want to catch the lead cars, because right now, clean air, not a whole lot of racing. They're putting miles in between these guys. You've got to stay close as possible to stay on top of those leaders. And I'd say another thing, it looks like the 12's got a little bit of damage as well, so that's going to slow that line down even more. I've got to think that right now the winner is going to come from that first 6-car breakaway.
It looks like we got a big incident on the back stretch here coming out. It looks like turn 2. We're going to review that real quick on a replay and let you fans know exactly what happened there.
Looks right now to be the 66 of Jack Watts, where we're getting the replay out. No caution because he's out of the groove. Looks like he got sandwiched between the 10 of Nick Reynolds and the 94 of Curtis Young. It just sent the car basically flying to the outside wall. When he landed down to the concrete below the yellow line, he was out of the groove. iRacing did not call it as a caution. The race continues right now to 5 cars up front.
And more bad news for Jack Watts. I'm listening to his radio. Looks like he just blew up, so he'll be bringing that thing to pit road. That 66 is probably done for the evening.
Yeah, unfortunately for the 66, kind of bad luck, bad place, wrong price, wrong time. Now, one other thing, Joe, Robert, we have a second race going on that I'm kind of keeping my eye on, too. It's involved in that second pack. It's between the 24 of Eric Stanford and the 81 of Shane Parrish. Both of those guys 1 lap down. That is the catbird seat for the lucky dog. If Shane gets ahead of him and a caution comes out, which obviously example A would have been last lap, would have been Eric Stanford getting back in the lead lap, so they've got to race each other pretty hard here. There's the caution. Another incident just happened.
Yes, fans, we'll get the replay pulled up here in just a minute and find out exactly what happened.
We're getting reports the 66 of Mark Jack, or looks like the 66 of Jack Watts was involved again. We're going to try to make sure that's correct before we start talking about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same replay, unfortunately, that I had before. I'm not certain exactly what happened. It is the 66 on my replay that I hit. What we have a button that actually goes back to the last incident. It's showing the same incident as before, so I'm not sure what this caution's for, guys.
Yeah, I've not seen anything on the track right that warrants a caution right now.
Well, fans, we are going to take this chance to take a quick commercial break. You are watching the Cross Continent 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. Fans, make sure you click the subscribe button so you get all the alerts for the free pizza. And we're going to be giving that information out to who won the pizza tonight here at the end of the race. Fans, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driving the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
As they say in a lot of commercials, this changes everything. Caution comes out, lap 60, less than what, 20 to go, guys? 80 laps in this race. A lot of guys going to be re-racking back up. Pace car lights are still on. Looks like it's going to be 2 to go. And we have a few new players in this whole thing. One person we haven't spoke about most of the night, 98, David Washington, who started 20th again, no time, 7th place. Came out 4 tires, washed him on pit lane. Has a chance to shuffle it up with the guys up front. You know he's not a stranger for being up front. He'll do his best to keep it there. Behind him, Jason Cardwell in the 18. He led the second pack there for quite a while, but now, player up front, top 10. Kyle Kamer in the 88. Haven't mentioned him all night long. But again, second pack player, now up with the big boys. We're going to see what happens on this restart, guys. I think it's going to get awful interesting from here on out. It's almost go time.
Well, you say interesting, and I say chaotic. How about that? That's what's going to happen here towards the end, in my opinion.
How about interesting? Mixture of chaotic and
that sounds good. Yes, sir. Right now we have in the broadcast booth Mark Jackson at number 3, beautiful paint scheme tonight. Mark, how do you feel about your car and your chances of winning tonight?
Hey, Rob. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to be up front or not. Hard place to win from. We've got some teammates back here, but they lost a little bit with that little incident there. Caution coming out. We'll see how this plays out. Just hope we go caution free to the end. We're going to try to bring it home for this over-the-top pace design Chevy SS. And, man, it would be incredible to get a win here in the Cup Series.
Yes, sir. Hey, we're pulling for you. Congratulations. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon. And concentrate on this finish. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, brother.
One more thing said in commercials I didn't mention before. But wait, there's more, and there's a lot more to come. Of course, we'll be lap 15 to go at the stripe. It's going to get crazy here, so get the edge of your seat, hang on to it, grab yourself a little cold beverage, and enjoy the ride.
What do you think, guys, about us doing one more final crank it up for this restart?
I'm completely game. I'm okay with that. Let's crank it up.
With the
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, bud.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, fans, we appreciate you watching tonight. One of you will win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. Make sure you turn all the speakers on your 7-channel surround sound speaker all the way up. Put it on the highest you can, including the subwoofer. Make sure the kids are awake or got earplugs in their ears, because you're going to enjoy this one as the pace car pulls off. Enjoy this crank it up for the next couple of laps.
Back here at Daytona, looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson up front. Behind him, he's got a trunk full of Brandon Cruz with Savius. Tell you what, Ray, it's go time. Here at Daytona, you can tell the energy starting to ramp up. These guys are really starting to get on top of the wheel. I look for some crazy moves to happen within the next 3 to 4 laps to get to the front.
I was going to guess about 3 or 4 laps myself, watching that engineer of the bottom low line train, Mark Jackson, pulling them along. That 54 has looked to the outside at least 3 times in the past 2 laps. He's got the 10 to go with him. The 10 has followed him twice. The 10 now looking to the outside, falls back in line, at least 10 deep right now. Low line, single file racing. They got to get that outside line going here shortly, and I think that's going to prepare itself in about 3 laps there, Joe.
Well, what I tell you, what I'd be doing right now, if I'm that 54 right there through about midway through the turn, I'm backing up to the guy behind me. I'm going to let that 3 get just a little bit of a run. Then I'm going to just yank on him down the back straightaway, get to his outside, get around him, and then cause all kinds of havoc. Because once these guys start getting dicey and getting 2 and 3 wide, the leader can kind of work traffic. When they get single file, they can freight train you quick. Look for that 54 of Brandon Cruz Savius here. He is itching to go, and he's not going to wait a whole lot longer.
Yeah, you heard it right from the horse's mouth. Number 3 of Mark Jackson. He wasn't sure if he wants to be up there, and I got to agree with him right at this point in time, Joe. That 54, again, sneaking that nose out there just a little bit. The 10 trying to follow. It looks like he may do it down the back. Excuse me. turn 4 right now, not enough to do it. Right on the tail end of that 3, it's almost like he's got him locked bumpers going down the front stretch.
That 54 can pull that grenade whenever he's ready. I think his main concern right now is the car behind him. Is Nick Reynolds going to go with him? The 10 showed that he's going to go. I think the 25 is going to go. I look for the 94 to try to work the low side. Curtis Young really hadn't gone to the high side a whole lot. He's got plenty of help behind him, so let's look for the 54, the 10, and the 25 to make that move. I'm not real sure that you can wait a whole lot longer because as these laps wind down, Mark Jackson has been known to be able to work the high end, the low side, and he's going to do that to make sure that you stay behind him. So I've got to think that if you're going to go, you've got to go in the next 3 to 4 laps, right?
Yeah, completely agree, completely agree. And the other thing is, too, is if he goes right now, though, you got to realize he's going to be in that seat where the number 3 is, where the guy behind him is going to try the slingshot. So that's why he's biding his time. But it looks like back to Buzzmore in the number 11 machine. See a couple guys think of that outside line. A couple guys forming up, but just not enough to go with them. Everybody sneaks back to the bottom line, single file as we go down the back chute.
Absolutely. All the help's on the bottom. That's where everybody needs to be, right up against that yellow line. Now, in past, we know that Dale Earnhardt was one of the greatest restrictor plate racers, if not the greatest restrictor plate racer ever to live. And one of Dale Earnhardt's things was when he saw that car laying back to get a run, he would back up to the car as well to make sure he didn't get a run. I haven't seen Mark Jackson do that yet, and I'm interested to see if maybe he comes up with that plan or formulates that idea. But right now, he's giving him just a little too much up in the corner. He gets about a half a car out, and when that 54 is ready to go, if he plays his cards right, and he plays his time right, he's going to go right around that 3 car down the back straightaway.
Yeah, keep in mind the 3's running scared right now. If you think about it, he's right on that loud pedal as far as it'll go to the floor if there's not dents in it so far. I mean, he's going as fast as that car will take him. So again, that strategy, as you just said, Joe, is definitely one to be playing into. But you got to have the talent to pull that off too. Keep that in mind. Like you just said, Dale Earnhardt used to be able to see, quote unquote, the air around the car. And in this case, you got to see it through the rearview mirror. Kind of picture it. The 10 kind of goes out a little bit, doesn't take the chance. They come off of turn 4 right now. Looks to be 8 laps to go. People are going to start shuffling up here real quick.
Yeah, Buzz Moore back here in the 11. He's starting to kind of peek his nose out a little bit. The guys in the back have got to go now. They can't wait anymore. Now's the time to go for the guys in the back. If you're not pulling out, if you're 6th, 7th, 8th place, you're not going to get to the front in time. The guys up front, 1st through 5th, have got the luxury of a couple more laps. But these guys behind them are starting to get 2 by 2. And here comes that outside line.
Points leader Tarantella Rico takes the outside line. David Washington takes the advantage. They're starting to get shuffling back here. 7 laps to go, this time by 25 of Carroll. Takes that outside line, trying to get that freight train to get going, and it looks like it's building momentum.
Gerald Campbell to the outside. He worked. Here comes the 10, or excuse me, the 54. He's going to go to the outside. He's got drafting help. He timed it perfectly. Brandon Cruz Monsavius to the front, right around Mark Jackson. He's going to put at least a car on him. Back to the outside, the 25 of Gerald Campbell, second and looking for more as they work off of 2.
Gerald tries to keep that back bumper, that 54 in his sights. Slips up the track just a little bit off of 1. Takes and gets down the back chute right now. Pushes them as hard as he can. Almost like they're breaking away from the 98, but the 98 retaliates and comes back to the rear bumper of the 25. Now a 3-car pack up front. 54 of Brandon Cruz will go down the bottom. Doors in the 2nd place. 25 up against the wall in the 3rd spot. He'll gather it back up. 3 wide down into turn 4.
What a save. What a save by the 25 car of Gerald Campbell. And he's not out of it yet. 2 and 3 wide everywhere. I tell you what, this is why we love Domino's TYJ. Oh, there's more trouble.
The 3.
The 94's in the wall. Curtis Jackson's upside down. The 11, the 24. More trouble. Gary Sexton in the wall, back in the back straightaway.
Right now, everybody's out of the groove, so there is no caution by racing. The racing continues up front. It'll be the 98 of David Washington at outside line. Mark Jackson, of course, out of play at this point. No caution being called. 98 out front. Brandon Cruz trying to challenge on the inside line. Not enough momentum to get it. He'll take the lead with the 18 pushing behind him.
The 98, the 18, the 54, the 73, the 10 are the players here right now. I tell you what, some of these guys we had no idea were going to be up the front. That's why we love Daytona. Back up front, the 54 car trying desperately to track back down that lead that was his. Wants it back. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back up front. It's like a pack of wolves, right?
I can't believe a caution wasn't called in that last one. I'll tell you that 54 is trying to sneak to the outside with absolutely no help. David Washington, of course, on the point right now. Bunch of damaged cars behind them. They're trying to form a pack from the 12 back of William Roberts Jr. in 7th. Not going to happen at this point. Brandon Cruz looking to the outside. 5 laps to go. Going to try to get a pack of 3 going. Not going to happen right now. Pack of 5 on a low line going into turn 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, we talk about this on Sunday now. If I've got to pick a guy right now, it's very simple for me. That 18, he knows how to get it done. The 18 in the Cup Series knows how to get it done. So I'm going to roll with Jason Cardwell for the finish here. Who's your guy, Ray?
I'm going to say right now Brandon Cruz, because he's been forceful all night long, trying to get that outside line going again. 4 laps to go at the line at this point. Brandon Cruz has got to have help to get that second line going, but again, that 18 has a great shot as a slingshot at the end of this run, and only what, like I said, 5 laps to go if I'm not mistaken at this point.
I'll tell you what, Ray, I'm just as excited as you are. Laps are going out the window in my book. I'm just waiting for the white flag to start calling it there. Back up front, the 98 of David Washington still leads Jason Cardwell, the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsavius. Behind them, we got the 10 of Nick Reynolds, and it looks like the 27 of Ashton Crowder, who's made a lot of headway here toward the field. Remember, right there toward the middle of the race, he had that pit stop, put him way back in traffic. He's been able to maintain, get back up to the front. So that 27, almost back to where he started as well. This is going to be a great finish.
I'll tell you another guy that's in the mix right now we haven't talked about all night, the 73 of Jeremy Crandall. He's with that second pack, which is not far back, and they are catching the front 5. It'll be a 9-car breakaway if he gets to the tail end of the Ashton Crowder machine. It looks like 4 laps to go this time, going down the back chute, actually 3.5 revolutions to go. And that full pack of 4 behind him is catching that front 5 very slowly. We're going to have another mix of cars involved in this. That second line has got to form shortly. The 27 looks to the outside, but just nobody to go with him. He is now the 73 to the tail deck lid of him. The 73 goes to the outside. 27 joins him, goes back to the bottom. Shuffling up, he'll go to the inside. 27 take over the 5th place spot.
Tell you what, they're crossing. Now we're working lap 78. Oh, David Washington gets spun!
Not exactly see what happened. We'll refresh it real quick for you. Only a couple laps to go. Looks like he got tapped to the rear of the 18 machine of Jason Cardwell. Just a little bit too much throttle coming off that corner.
Up front, it looks like the 18 of Jason Cardwell. He's got the lead to his outside. Looks like that 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsavius is starting to work. The 10 of Nick Reynolds closes in behind him. I'll tell you what, they're coming to the... My gosh, Ray, what a race.
It's amazing right now what's happening. They've only got 3 laps left. The 54 on the outside all alone. A little bit of help from the 27. But again, the 27 back in line behind the 73 of Crandall. Crandall now taking over the 3rd spot. 54 hung out to drive. 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go here at Daytona as they're going to head back into turn 1. The 18 is going to protect the bottom. The 10 of Nick Reynolds right behind him. The 54 of Brandon Cruz tucks in line. He has no help on the bottom side. Ray, right now, are those yellow lines your best friend?
I'll tell you, that's the place to be. Of course, you go to that outside, you need that drafting help. Plain and simple. Now, one other guy that got caught in a turn a little while ago from the 3 of Mark Jackson, when that caution didn't come back out, he is at the tail end of this 7-car lead pack, and it looks like he has a chance right now to win it as well. Very little damage to that car, so the air doesn't seem to be affected, but right now the 18 has the point. Coming down to the front stripe, it'll be 1 lap to go. White flag will be in the air, and a breakaway to the outside with the 27. He'll have help from the 54 of Brandon Cruz. They'll try to put it to the front.
White flag this time by. Everybody goes to the high side except for the 18. Looks like we got trouble.
54, big contact. No caution yet. Keeping an eye out for it. Not sure exactly why not. Last lap is between the 18 of Jason Cardwell and 10 of Nick Reynolds. They'll go down the back chute. Nick is trying to get to him side by side, door to door. Just about a quarter of a car length short. They'll go into turn 3. Lap traffic up ahead. Door-to-door drag race down the back chute.
Whoever can get to that lap car first and get just that little bit of draft is going to win this race. Right now, the 18 shows the way over the 10. Through turn 4, Jason Cardwell trying to protect the bottom. The 10 of Nick Reynolds looks to the high side. Too little, too late. Jason Cardwell is going to take the checkered flag here at Daytona.
Beautiful run at the end, gentlemen. Absolutely great racing. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure why iRacing didn't call that caution. Now, keep in mind, in the Domino's TYJ Series, we go by all iRacing rules, so no black flags cleared, no cautions being thrown no matter what. And unfortunately, this is one of those victims of circumstance.
Ray, would you want to see a caution flag right now?
You know, if I was the 18 or 10, no.
That's one of the greatest races we've ever seen through the closing laps at Daytona. Yeah, we had some wrecks, but holy cow, a 2-car shootout for the win. I'll take it.
You know, I'll tell you, coming down to those last couple laps, I've never seen a two-car shootout by themselves before. That was an amazing race at the end. Great effort by the time of Nick Reynolds. Not exactly sure what happened between the 73 and 54. Almost kind of looked like a little squiggle from the 73, but not certain. We'll see what happens with this. And guys, what a fantastic evening.
I tell you what, and you know what? It could have happened to a better number, Ray. You can give me all kinds of heck or hell as much as you want, but that 18 car gets it done here at Daytona. Jason Cardwell bringing it home. That's outstanding.
That's a Kyle Busch reference right there, who didn't know. By the way, one other thing, the 27 machine of Ashton Crowder takes home the third place spot. Our pole sitter from this evening, he is now on pit road right now. But again, third place podium finish. After all that carnage, kind of kudos to him.
All right, so let's run through the rest of the field. It looks like Tanner Tallarico is going to come home in fourth. He's going to protect that lead in points. Fifth, Jeff T. Martin. Sixth, Kyle Kammer. Seventh, William B. Moore. Eighth, Jeremy Crandall. Ninth, William Roberts Jr. Mark Jackson is going to come home in 10th. 11th is Brandon Cruz Monsavius. 12th is Bud Moore. Eric Stanford finishes 13. Gerald Campbell finishes 14. Shane Parrish will come home 15th tonight at Daytona. 16th is James Ross. David Washington finishes 17th. Jesse Abraham 18th. Wesley Whitfield 19th. And Gary Sexton will round out your top 20. Curtis Young finishes 21st. Brian Cutts 22nd. Jack Watts 23rd. Gio Bramante in 24th. Ryan Hill in 25th. 26th, Josh Bonwell. 27th, Andrew Payne. And finishing shotgun on the field, William Davis, down 66 laps, will finish 28th here tonight.
I'll tell you, not just carnage at the end, unfortunately, for a lot of guys, but just some exciting racing all the way around. I don't like to see demolition derbies, to be totally honest with you. That's a lot of metal to be banging back out. But again, very exciting racing nonetheless. I'll tell you, you don't get anything less here at Domino's TYJ Top Shelf Racing.
Absolutely right. I tell you, I'm really kind of puzzled as to why the Domino or why the iRacing software didn't throw a caution. There was a couple of instances where the cars went back to the racing surface and they had oncoming traffic, and for some reason there was no yellows thrown. So, you know, it's definitely interesting. It definitely led to one of the coolest finishes of the season. Again, congrats to Jason Cardwell. We don't take anything away from him. He ran a great race all night long. He was able to get his car up to the front, maintain that lead, and be there when it counted.
We'll talk to your top three finishers here very shortly. Getting them lined up at the moment in time. In fact, I do believe we have, hang on a second here.
Yeah, if you guys will go through the complete finishing order, if you didn't go through the complete order yet, you will take your time and go through the top 10, the top 20. I think everybody in this race deserves a little quick shout out. I'll get everybody ready for interviews.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, let's talk a little bit more, since we've already run through the top 20, let's talk a little bit more about the race that we saw tonight. It's everything that we always think Daytona is going to be. It's the calm before the storm, if you will. You know, the first 30, 40 laps, everybody's nice and friendly, and, you know, let's all have a picnic while we're running 200 miles an hour. But those last 20 laps, those guys would wreck their mom to win.
Yeah, I highly agree with you on that. There's no friends at that point in time. Now, I will say I looked at this last incident between the 54 and the 73. Again, we kind of caught that at the last second. And one of the reasons also, by the way, kind of going off subject for a second, Robert, of course, being the official here at, we've got several officials, but Robert being the main official, he kind of didn't hear us going through the top field, so we do apologize about that. But regardless, that last incident, what looked to end up happening, again, we don't have the replay brought up. It looks to be the 54 went to the inside of the 27 of Ashton Crowder and unfortunately caught his rear bumper, and it just upset the car of the 54 enough to turn him sideways, and it caught the 73, unfortunately, in that incident as well. So,
yeah, I think, Ray, you have caught up with the driver of that number 27 machine, Ashton Crowder. He led a lot of laps tonight. Ray, I'll let you take it up with Ashton Crowder for his great third-place finish.
Ashton Crowder, Ray Richard, how you doing this evening, bud? A podium finish even after all the carnage. How you feeling after this race, buddy?
Oh, my Crowder Crew Chevrolet Silverado was really flying tonight. We made some contact within the last 5 laps, but, you know, we kept on sailing. Put that thing into high gear, I tell you what, and we ended up getting that P3 position. It didn't hit the wall once, I don't think, so pretty good night.
Yeah, I saw that last lap incident there. Not last lap, but last incident that happened. Unfortunately, you were involved in. Kind of take us through that just for a second, if you would. And how did you get back up to third? I mean, did everybody else kind of get around you and get wrecked at the same time?
Well, I was in front of it, but I got hooked down to the bottom, I tell you. And I was all the way down there. I was in the grass pretty much, and I just hit that apron. I just hooked it sideways, we were drifting. Then we got, down on the bottom right there at that yellow line, and we just started Alan Bowes saving it. We got it going. It was a bunch of Gymkhana stuff right there, but we just kept it wheeling, and I think we beat Tanner Tallarico, Crowder Crew teammate right there, by like a second. But huge congratulations to him, and hope he wins the championship, I tell you.
Hey, congratulations. Now, of course, you've already thanked Crowder Crew. Anybody else you want to thank for this evening, bud?
I want to thank Monster Energy, Mog, Mayhell, CompCam, Sunoco, 3M, everybody else, Canon, Durlast, Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford, and you guys.
Really appreciated. Great race this evening. Great podium finish. Brings it home, third place, 27 machine of Ashton Crowder this evening.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you, Ashton. I tell you what, now second place finisher, we do have Nick Reynolds ready here. Joe, if you would like to give him a quick interview.
Nick, Joe Johnson, man, I tell you what, you had a great run tonight. I think you started 27th on the field. How did you get to the front, buddy?
Man, just good strategy and teammates. You got to have teammates in these super speedways. Mark got took out, Jack got took out. Jeff, I think he ended up 5th, and Wes forgot to take gas on the first pit stop, so it kind of got him behind.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's tough to get to the front at Daytona and maintain that, but once you seem to find that lead pack, you were able to really seem like you're able to step with the leaders, protect your position. You were able to keep look like the car was pretty clean at the end of the race there as well. We know that's important here at Daytona for Aero. We talked about you all night long up in the booth, man. You were very impressive. Tell you what, let's thank your sponsors, man. Who out there do you want to thank?
Southeast Motorsports, Rockstar Energy, Tyler Chalk. He was spotting for me tonight. He done an awesome job. Andrew Williams, just everybody at Southeast Motorsports. They do a good job. We all work well together.
Well, I'll tell you what, you certainly worked well here tonight at Daytona, man. Congrats on that runner-up finish, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right, man. Thank you. I also like to thank John Hendricks for Top Paint Designs. He paints all of our cars. He does an awesome job. Also, check him out.
Absolutely, we sure will, man. Thank you for that.
All right, thank you, man.
Yes, sir, and I think we've got finally, believe it or not, Joe Johnson and Ray Rich are a lot quicker than you guys think. They have made it all the way down there to the victory circle. They're both going to interview our winner tonight, Jason Cardwell. I think it could be his first win of the night, which will the season will lock him into the chase. Go ahead, guys.
Well, Jason, let me interview you first here for a second. Let me tell you how proud I am of you. And I have to tell you why. That 18 that you got on the side of that car has got a special place in my heart and not such a special place in Ray's heart. So it's always good to see that thing come home in first. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be able to finish one and win one for the Domino's Racing League here.
Well, you couldn't have done it tonight with a better number on the side of that car. How were you able to, play track position as well as you did? You started 23rd on the field, and I think about halfway we started kind of seeing you come through the field. How were you able to get to the front so fast?
We stayed in the group. I was following Washington. I got to help listen to what he has to say and just follow around. He's got more experience here than I do, so just taking notes and just be in the right place at the right time.
Well, that's exactly right. Right place, right time. Ray, you're in the right place at the right time. Victory lane with an 18 car in it. Go ahead, buddy.
Jason, let me tell you right now, first of all, with that 18, you made Joe proud. He picked you up about, 10 laps before the end, and he picked you to win this race. Congratulations, first of all. As for the 18 comment, well, that's between Joe and I. We'll leave that in the win. But, Joe, you brought it home top shelf tonight, boy. Tell me what it feels like to get your first win here in the Domino's TYJ Racing Series.
It feels good. Hope we can keep it going when I get a chance on here to run.
Well, one of the questions I have for you, at the end, you were behind that 3 car for quite a while. We were watching to see if you would take that slingshot move, and I'll tell you, being up there in front is a little nerve-wracking. What were you feeling the last 5 laps of this race before the incident happened?
I was white-knuckling around the corners, but just keep looking in my mirror and then just seeing, giving and taking. That's about all I can do.
Fantastic job, bud. Anybody you want to thank this evening before we let you go back and get some champagne in that fire suit?
I just want to thank the Domino's League, and thanks for David Washington for all the help he's provided, learning how to get on here in iRace. It's a lot of fun.
Learning from one of the best. Top shelf tonight, first place finisher Jason Cardwell in the 18 Toyota. Joe, we're going to have a discussion after this race.
I'll tell you what, first of all, before we leave Victory Lane, can you take my picture with this 18 car?
There you go. I'll grab the phone over here. We got you, buddy.
All right, 10-4.
Yeah, I tell you what, Joe is a big supporter of the 18 car. I tell you what, we're very excited for Jason Cardwell, and we want to thank Ray Richard, Joe Johnson, Michael D'Amico fans. If you're still tuning in, make sure you click that subscribe button. We do have a free pizza winner tonight. Susan Butler from Daytona, Florida, picked the number 18 of Jason Cardwell to win the race tonight. Jason, I don't know if you know Susan or not, but she's going to be getting that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza for her family this weekend. It's been a great race. Jason, Joe, and Ray, do you have any other takeaways for the race before we close it out?
I just want to say how brilliant Susan is down there in Daytona, Florida. Congrats, Susan.
Absolutely, Susan. Great job. I'll tell you, this racing, again, does not come up short. This evening was no exception to any of the Domino's leagues. Great finish, great racing all the way around. And we'll have to check with iRacing exactly why those cautions didn't come out. But I'll tell you what, enjoyed every bit of it, fellas.
Absolutely, guys. I enjoyed being in the booth with you as well. Ray, Robert, always a pleasure to come up here and call these races at Daytona. Robert, why don't you take us out, buddy?
Yes, sir. The only explanation I might have is it was on the last lap, that very last incident that did occur. I'm not sure how good iRacing is with NASCAR and what they're doing, but it looked to me like as I was watching the race, that event occurred behind the leaders. The leaders were able to continue to race to the checkered flag. I'm probably wrong, but hey, that's a pretty good explanation, believe it or not. And I tell you what, I want to give all the incredible thanks out to some very, very special people. And this is not in any particular order. Ray Richard does an incredible job racing as well as in the booth. Joe Johnson does an incredible job racing as well as in the booth. So does our good friend Gabriel Wood, who's not here tonight. We want to thank all of our admins, which include Judd Danielson. You might have the points updated before you can even blink 3 times. He had it last night, super fast. We also want to thank Curtis Young. We want to thank all the other guys we have helping us out. We have James Ross helping us out in the booth from time to time. We got some other admins. I'm probably forgetting them. But more importantly, or as importantly, we want to thank Michael D'Amico. He has put out a lot of effort this year to give all you fans these unbelievable camera angles. I tell you what, when I throw this thing up the next day or that night, if I don't have to work the next day on my 72-inch big screen, it just blows my mind. If I didn't know any better, I was watching the real thing. And that's what we're trying to do, is bring you the real thing. We got the greatest announcers, the greatest cameraman. We got, in my opinion, the greatest drivers, even when we have caution. So for Michael D'Amico, Ray Richard, Joe Johnson, everybody else I did or did not mention, fans, thank you for watching. And Susan will enjoy her pizza this weekend as well as her winner from last night. You fans will have your next chance to win the free pizza coming up next Wednesday night. You do not want to miss our Den Defender Truck Series race. Stay tuned. It's going to be awesome, and you can win a free pizza. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Two wheels in the open road. I got the throttle wide open. Feel my pace. Got 100 horses between my legs. No destination. No end in sight. Just me in the open road, riding into the moonlight. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. Life in the fast lane, it's easy to maintain. Just twist the throttle on back and feel no.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driving the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.